What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Zach and Pat Show. I'm Zach.
I'm Pat.
This is the show about manhood, fatherhood, entrepreneurship, and the mentality it takes to be successful at those things. And we'll probably sprinkle in some helpful real estate advice too, because that's what Pat and I do. You know, guys, life can be tough. We can go through some things and struggle at times, but this is the show to let you know that you're not alone. So if you're someone out there going through any of these things, this is the show for you. Shout out to our friends at NeuroGum for keeping us energized and focused. NeuroGum is a chewing gum as well as mints. It's got caffeine, L-theanine, and vitamins B6 and 12. Helps with memory recall and focus. I like to chew it, really all the time. If I'm driving around showing houses, if I'm making some phone calls to my clients, if I've got a big meeting, if I have a workout and I'm just not feeling like I'm mentally there, pop a piece and it'll get me to where I need to be. It's only about 40 milligrams of caffeine per piece, so about half a cup of coffee. So get out there and try some NeuroGum.
And shout out to our dudes over at Captain Beard Co. So they make unbelievable products for beard grooming, body wash, shampoo, conditioner. But they've got this beard butter, beard oil, beard balm, and not to mention they also make candles. All their stuff smells amazing, and the best thing about it is they're made with all natural ingredients locally here in St. Louis. But yeah, give them check them out, and if you go to make a purchase, use our promo code Zach and Pat for 10% off your purchase.
And finally, thanks to our friends at Hand Wraps Rolling Papers. Hand Wraps, it's a local company here to St. Louis. He's a jiu-jitsu guy and a friend of ours, and he has the highest quality rolling papers that you can get. They've got hemp and rice rolling papers. A couple different sizes. They come with the little tips for the filters. So if you're a cannabis user and it's legal in your state, get out there and try some hand wraps next time you see it. They're in 16 local dispensaries here in St. Louis. Well, guys, before we get started, this is our 100th episode, so thank you guys if you've been following along with us since the beginning. It's been a long road. We're almost a year into this, and we've had a blast doing the show, and it's something Pat and I look forward to every week, and this is our 100th episode. So if you guys could click that subscribe button, that would mean a ton to us. And, if you really want to go the extra mile for us, share the show with someone who you think would like it. So I think we've got a nice little kind of recap show planned out here. Pat and I went through and, picked out, I wouldn't even say it was like our top 10, like, favorite episodes. It might've just been like the 10 episodes that I think we really learned something. So, this is 10 episodes, 10 lessons from 100 episodes. So, yeah, man, this has been a ride.
Yes, it has.
Like, pretty cool.
From a text on a Saturday to, hey, do you want to do a podcast? To fuck yeah, to here we are.
Here we are, almost a year later.
Yeah, man, this is awesome. I love it. Like you said, we look forward to it every week. We've had some amazing guests. Every single one that we've had on has been unique in their own way, and I think that's what's so great about this is that we get to have conversations. Like, for example, we did it the ones that we recorded the other day with our guests. We talked about that in two completely different people. Two completely different people. And
but it was nice doing those back. Yeah. I was telling Gina, I was like, man, it was nice to have like two very different conversations back to back, because we had a stand-up comedian on and then a real estate investor. So talking about jokes and the pitfalls, right, and the process of writing comedy, right, and then getting into that, and then just talking about a guy who's
the analytics of buying a house.
Yes. Yeah. So it's just just very diverse, but super, it's just fun. It always keeps us on our toes. And this is exactly what I wanted for the show. Obviously we are, we're real estate guys. That's what we do all day, every day. Yep. But it's just, it's
nice to get away from it.
It's nice to get away from it. And it's also like nice to talk about it. Cause obviously you and I know, we're pretty knowledgeable on it. But it's just fun because we just want to bring in all these different kinds of people and just have great conversations. That's really what this is all about.
Yeah, it's 3 hours of our day where this is silenced, not blowing us up, keeping us, having action. And that's why we like doing it in person. We don't have anything where people are coming in, like Zoom and stuff like that, because in-person, I don't think there's anything better than an in-person conversation.
No, I agree.
And I think more of it needs to happen, not just like with the show, but like outside people just sit down and have conversations with somebody.
Yeah. 100%.
It's amazing what you can learn from somebody. And
put the phone down.
Yeah. Put it down and don't be distracted and be present. And I think that's the biggest thing that I've learned from this show so far. And I'm looking forward to the next 100.
Yeah, 100%. We're not going anywhere.
Nope.
So we each, and so Pat and I, we, like I said, we picked out 10 episodes, and then he took 5, I took 5, and we're gonna kind of just pick out, pieces of it and chat about it and kind of see what we learned from these guys. So, do you want to start, or do you want me to?
Sure, I'll go ahead. The first one, was Matt Joe.
Okay. Man, such a good episode.
Incredible. His story, everything that he's been through to where he's at now. Just his strength and belief system with his religion and with his family and all of those things. But I think the biggest thing was like, don't let your past define you. I mean, that was probably the biggest thing that I've learned from him, because everybody's got a past. Could be good, could be great, could be bad. But he told his story where he got arrested and spent 7 years in prison, max security prison at that. And, a lot of people could have let that define them.
Yes.
And he came out stronger and better. And now look at him.
Dude, look at him now.
It's
incredible. I'm literally going to be with him in 2 hours or 3 hours from now. Like, he's one of the strongest. Like, he's changed. I mean, you can totally tell that he's just like totally like reinvented himself. And, and in prison, it sounds like, he really found God, and it like that seems like that's like been the biggest influence on him for sure.
Absolutely.
And I don't think he probably, who knows if he would have gotten there if he didn't.
Right. I mean, all you got to do is just go to his social media pages, and you're going to see not just the incredible work that he produces. Like, it's insane.
Oh, I'm so excited for the videos we're making today.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Incredible production skills and making social media content, things like that. But his family, Erica, Jeremiah, and reconnecting with his brother and all of those things, like he's one of my favorite people for sure.
Yeah.
It's hard not to be a better person around him.
Yes.
Just because of who he is.
Yes.
So
he's like one of those guys that's just going to bring out the best in you. And man, just really, not letting your past define yourself. Because
it's huge.
If you sat there, if you told, like, if you went and said, talked about him and like his past and all the things he's done, like in the past, before he went into prison, and like the year, how he grew up, how him and Mark grew up, with in and out of foster systems or foster care, and
the drugs,
addicted to drugs and running around with bad people and addicted to drugs and selling drugs, and then ultimately getting arrested and spending that amount of time. You would be like, oh, this is a this is a guy I don't want to be around. But then you get around and you'd have no idea that was his past. Like, any person that you get around him, you're like, what? You spent 7 years in prison. Like, you would never guess it by talking.
Well, and he talked about it on the show too. He's like, you could either go in and actually get better, but the majority of people go in and get worse.
Right.
They get better at the skills that they were already.
You're going in there and you're surrounded. You go in there as a criminal, surrounded by criminals.
Right.
So,
and think about that, because we always talk about you are the 5 people you're surrounded yourself with. So like, it's crazy to think like being that strong-willed to not let the people around you influence you into something worse, to come out and be what he is today is incredible.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. He's just such a great guy. So, if you're out there, give Matt a follow on Instagram. I think it's like Matt_Joe on Instagram, and then his company is Posted Social, which is that makes just the best social media content in. I mean, it's got to be up there nationally because it's so good. But I mean, definitely the best here in St. Louis.
Oh, absolutely. If you're local to St. Louis and you're needing a content creator, or somebody to come out and shoots for you, I mean, I don't know anybody better than Matt.
I don't
Posted
either.
Social. I mean, hell, you got he's the one that taught Murph and worked with Murph. I mean, yeah.
He's Matt Murph will be the first one to tell you he was like a mentor to him.
Yeah.
So
it's a bummer that Murph can't be here for this one right now.
Yeah,
but that's okay.
Yeah, bummer.
Yeah,
it is what it is. But next one. So
who you got?
Adam Marburger.
Oh boy,
yeah, dude, that was such a good episode.
Yeah,
what a fucking guy.
Yeah, just like, insane.
Black belt in jiu-jitsu. He owns like several different businesses. He's got his insurance, his auto insurance company. He's got the dental insurance company. He's got his martial arts school. He's got a ton of real estate, and has a
Public,
bunch
public speaking.
public speaking. I mean, just what an incredible human being. And I mean, he's a great follow on Instagram, on social media too. He's a lot more active on Facebook than he is on Instagram. Man, he's just such a great guy. And I kind of went through and I picked out a couple things that he said, and parts that really stuck out to me when I re-listened to the episode. And he just said, like, he's this is the part that I think I got out of the most. He's like, I don't work. I love everything that I do, and it doesn't feel like work to me. As long as I can keep doing what I'm doing, I'm winning.
That's awesome.
He just wants to, control his time. Not, he's not, but then this is the part that I was like, well, okay, I think I feel a little bit of that too, but he's talked about how he doesn't, because it could be a bad thing, could not be a bad thing, but he's like, I just have very little sense of accomplishment. He's like, the second I do something, I get something, I'm like, okay, what's next?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's like a trait of very successful people.
Right.
And, and just never being satisfied, always looking for, the next thing. It's like, you're only as good as, your last fight or whatever
Right.
it is. You're only as good as the last game you won. You're only as good as your last deal. And so you got to always be searching for, what's next, and keep, climbing that mountain, because, the top is, it's like a glass ceiling, kind of like you just want to keep climbing. Like you're never going to touch that ceiling. You're going to keep going. And maybe glass ceiling is
Flat.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like a never, like maybe like a Stairmaster that just like never ends,
Never ends. Yeah.
I don't know.
Constantly going.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, super motivational. Like, I mean, just the energy that he carries himself with and the positivity that he has. I mean, it's awesome. I think I remember, like, one thing he was real big on was showing gratitude.
Yes.
Like, he was real big about, like, praising the people that he works with and the people that work for him. And I think that's incredible, just to be able to continually promote and create the culture that you want for the businesses that you have. And obviously it shows just by all the success that he's had. So
yeah, what an incredible human. So
absolutely.
Get out there and follow Adam Marburger, Alton Family Martial Arts over in Alton, Illinois.
Ascent Car Services.
Ascent Dealer Services. And then I can't remember what the name of the dental one he has, but he's just such a good guy, man.
And he'll kick your ass. So
yeah, he's beat my ass before.
Be careful. All right. Next for me was good old Louis.
Oh, dude. Another incredible
Our French
story.
friend.
Our French friend. Man, what an incredible story.
It's insane.
I can't wait till that documentary comes out.
I know. I'm pumped. And that'd be awesome if Netflix picked it up. I mean, hey, Netflix.
Yeah.
Pick up this fucking story. You did Iron Cowboy. Here's another cool one.
Yeah. This is right up there, I think.
Yeah.
I mean it's so cool because it's so different,
Right.
It's like Forrest Gump, but
right.
on rollerblades.
Absolutely.
Forrest Gump on wheels.
and I mean, that's the thing is, like, I mean, he skated from Venice Beach to Times Square in 40 something days.
Yeah.
And I mean, and then doing it for the disease that he has, and that it's a rare blood disease, which I guess you're based on medicine that you can take that, again, be careful what you take.
Yes.
Because it can be triggered by any medicine that's given to you here in the States, really anywhere in the world, but it's very common here in the States. We're basically
heavy on pharmaceuticals.
Right. Where it makes your body burn from the inside out. And he was covered with, burns throughout his body. And what do you say? Like 90% of his body, I think it was. And we're covered in like 2nd-degree burns or something like that at the age of 6.
Yeah.
I mean, and then, using that and using that strength and everything from such a young age, like knowing that he's going to be okay and using that as motivation. But the biggest thing, I mean, taking it as a whole, listening to the episode as a whole, it really just like his mental toughness and being like, you can literally do anything you put your mind to, because he was saying, he's like, I just rollerbladed to class. Yeah. Like that was the thing, was like, I picture in my mind, like the Mighty Ducks, them skating everywhere. And,
me too.
Yeah. And so, but yeah, he got this idea and he just kept pushing. Like, once you're fixated on something, push and push and push. And finally he was able to put together the team that he needed to do this, and he fucking did it.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's the resolve, the mental toughness, the strength that it takes to push through something like that. I mean, just an incredible person.
Yeah. It's a very special human. Sure. All right, next one. Evan Elder.
Oh, wow.
Such a good episode.
Yeah.
What a fun, like, I mean, this one, when I was listening to it, it was like hard to like pick out, just
There's so much.
There's so many like great things that he said that I'm just like, fuck, that was good. So good. And like, I mean, he's just right now, I mean, he's on the cusp of really becoming, he's like, just getting started in the UFC, but man, I think he's going to be top of that lightweight division in the next 2 years. I mark my words. I think Evan will be top 5 in the lightweight division in the next 2 years. I would almost guarantee that. He's just so with his work ethic and just how good he is, and what a good fucking human being.
Yeah.
Like,
And the discipline.
yes.
I mean,
He's the definition of discipline.
Yeah, you follow him on social media, and it is to a T.
Yes.
Same thing every single day.
Yep.
Every day he's doing the same thing, and he's got that one goal.
Yeah. To get that belt wrapped around his waist, man. And I think he's just an inspirational human being. He's one of those guys that, like when I first went around, he's just like one of those guys that just like stuck out. Like even when I just joined Finney's, brand new, didn't know anything yet. He was just like one of those guys that you could just tell, like even in the lock, he was just like always the fun guy in the locker room, and he was just like the guy that everybody likes. And he's just such a like happy, positive, like just happy guy, and he's just a pleasure to be around.
Yeah, I think every word that came out of his mouth was positive and inspirational.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just
I've never heard him say anything negative ever.
Right.
Like he's just such a good guy, and yeah, I mean he, this is one part of the episode that I was like, oh, that's fucking like that's just a great mentality to have, literally about anything. But he was like, I've just realized I've learned enough to know that I don't know anything. There's so much to learn and push myself and just always be pursuing a way to get better. And I mean, I think we kind of already hit that nail on the head there. I mean, he's just someone who's going to be always looking for the next best thing and always pushing himself to become better, to become that best version of himself. And, you're never an expert at anything. There's always more to learn. I don't care what it is. I don't care if if you have 15 degrees and you're a doctor and this, like there's always going to be something out there that you don't know, and there's always opportunity to improve. So I think just being more like open to realizing that you don't know anything is just a huge, like that white belt mentality. Right. Of like, hey man, I don't know anything, I'm always going to be getting better. Like they even say like in jiu-jitsu, like when you get your black belt, like that's when it really starts. Mm-hmm. Or that's when the journey begins, but it's just like, it's like one of those kind of corny sayings, but it's true, I think. Because like, dude, I'm speaking on my own experience. Like I'm 6 years into training, and dude, I am the first, I have had my successes. I've won some matches. I have my days in the gym where I do well. There's some days where I definitely don't do well, but there's so much shit that I do not know. Mm-hmm. Like I will never get that whole sport figured out. And there's always more. There's always going to be another guard, another submission that I can work on. There's always another takedown that I suck at. Oh, I can't do it on this side, but I can do it on this side. So I got to get better at that bad side. And and just having that mentality of like, I don't know shit. I always need to be.
Yeah.
So
that was a good episode. I really enjoyed it. Enjoyed having him on.
I love listening to that one again.
Yeah. All right. Miss Ashlii Pollard.
Oh.
All right. So, having known Ashlii for years, going all the way back to freshman year at college, it was awesome to have her on. Super successful, very driven, and just entrepreneurial to a T. Like her face should be next to the word entrepreneur in the dictionary. I mean, incredible the things that she's been able to do with her businesses and build her brand. But the biggest thing from her is living a life that you want requires taking big, bold chances.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I took from it. And it just goes back to some of the stories that she was telling us about how, for her first job in New York, where she faked that she already had the job.
Yeah.
And that she was late to get the person to let her in, and then caught the person doing the hiring. And it's like, oh yeah, how'd you get up here? Well, I told him that I work for you. And today's my first day. She goes, well, you're right. Today's your first day. So like
awesome.
That's cool. Or like at the Churchill Downs where she ran into that guy where she was trying to find the buyer for this company. And she just walked up behind him. She stalked him and all that, and figured out where he was going to be, and
faked a
phone call. Like, it was awesome. Like, you know, she's a risk taker, and she sticks to her beliefs and values, and you know, and that's rare. And whether you believe in some of the things that she promotes or not, she is authentically herself. And I think that's the biggest thing that you can learn from her is be your authentic self, and take those chances, and the life that follows with it is going to be great.
Yeah.
And it's going to make you, and you're going to be happy. And, you know, I love Ashlii, and I'm happy to see all the success that she's had, especially from where her and I came from at Missouri State. You know, she was someone that I was never worried about having success, because she was always like that. She was never afraid to take those chances even back then. And I'm not surprised that she did the shit that she did to get to where she's at today and take those chances. So that's the biggest thing I've learned from her.
Yeah,
So
she's just a strong, what a badass chick.
Yeah.
You know, she's really, really cool. And just the amount of shit that she's done, and how she was able to, like, just do, like you said, just not taking no for an answer, and just like finding a way, making her way,
making it happen.
You know, there's not a door there. Well, I'm going to fucking make one, you know, like she's like, that's her mentality. And I think it's so cool. She's like, I'm figuring out my way in, and whether you like it or not, I'm here.
Absolutely.
And she's awesome.
Yeah.
What a great episode.
Yep.
Next one. Oh, Tony Andonoff. That was a fun one.
That was fun.
Tony. Yeah, that was funny how that one kind of came about, because we had like a last minute cancellation. We had a guest planned on the schedule, and couldn't make it, and so we kind of had to call someone last minute. And I had Tony on my list, and I was like, I know he lives kind of close. I was like, let me just give him a call. And he came here on like an hour's notice, and man, that just ended up being such a great episode. I've known him for really, I guess it would probably be like 2016 is when I met Tony, probably for the first time. And him and I know each other through First Form, and through like supplement superstores, and all those people. And we used to, go to all the events together, and he just got to know him. He's just such a great, positive person who's really come into his own. He's he created his coaching business, which is like something that you, even when I met him, like I could have totally, like, I was surprised that, well, not surprised, but like I could have always seen him doing what he's doing. Let's just say that, like, he has a fitness coach. He's a health and diet coach, and gets people ready for bodybuilding shows and just like lifestyle. And he's just such a great human. And I love Tony. Just a positive, great person to be around. Like, he's just like one of those guys that when you're around him, he brings you up. Kind of like Matt. And every time I'm around him, he really always brings me up. But there's one point in the episode where he talked about he's like how in kind of in our culture, it's like the don't sleep, don't rest, just go 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 go. And he's like, man, that couldn't be more
further from
the truth, man. We need our sleep and our rest. And me personally, like, it's something I need to work on, and I've talked about it before, and I just really need to prioritize sleep. And because he talked a lot about prioritizing sleep and recovery, and that's just something that I don't think a lot of like really type A, like, successful, like, driven people are have a hard time doing that. And I fall into that category where I'm I like last night, for instance, I was up very late. I had ended up running, or I got 3 listings hitting the market this week, and couldn't get everything I needed done during the day. So after I got the boys down at 8:30, 9 o'clock, I left the house. I didn't get back here till almost midnight. And and I'm like, fuck, well, all right, well, then I got to get up at 5, and it's like, and I got home, and I didn't go to sleep right away. I still had to eat my last meal to get because I'm eating an absurd amount of food right now. Thanks, Bree. And so I got home, and I'm like, fuck, I still got 800 calories to eat.
It's always fun.
Yeah. I'm like, all right, well, so I had to fix me a hand wraps for some some performance enhancing supplements to get all that food down. Thank you, hand wraps. And that is one thing about eating all this food that I've had to, like, dude, because that's the one thing is, like, if I don't plan my day right, if I get too busy and I just, like, I'll forget to eat, and I'll get home and I'll, like, look at my pull up the app, and I'm like, oh shit. Like, it was the other night, I had, like, it was like 8 o'clock, and I still had like 1,900 calories. And I was like, fuck.
Mm.
Yeah, 'cause she's got me at like a little over 3,000 a day right now. And I'm trying to beef up,
There
baby.
you go.
You know? And it's bulking season. So yeah, I have this I talked to Bree about my goal right now is to get to, so we do the in-body scans, and my last one I weighed 172 pounds at 14% body fat. I told her, I was like, by the springtime, I would like to be 175, but at single digit body fat. So like even 9.9, I'll call it a win, but I want to weigh 175. So like obviously I got to gain a lot of muscle to get there. And and then lose the fat and kind of, so it's like I got to bulk and then do like a cut. So probably she's like, you'll probably have to get up to like mid 180s probably, and then like start cutting your calories back and diet down to like 175. That's like really what you want to do. So yeah, I was like, I've never had single digit body fat, so like that's kind of like just a milestone, a cool goal to get to. Obviously, right now it's fun just because I get to eat so much and like lift heavy and have fun with that. But then when comes time to start shedding the lbs off, like that's gonna suck. But it's nothing I'm not familiar with. So, but anyway, sorry, got off on a tangent there. But yeah, Tony, prioritizing sleep and just focusing on trying to get a great 8 to 9 hours a night, and making that a priority. That's something that that I'm personally I suck at. So
yeah,
that's something I need to work on, and it's definitely something I'm gonna really start prioritizing, especially coming into this new year. So
yeah. I mean, one of the biggest things I got from him was like, you're never too old to. I mean, not saying that Tony's old, but
but
you're never too old to start something.
In his,
start
early
something
to
new.
He's like in his early 50s, I think.
Yeah.
But dude, look at he's fucking in incredible shape. Like when I'm 50, I hope I look like that.
Right.
Like he's jacked.
Yeah. And the fact that, I mean, what is he, about a year and a half in, 2 years into this new thing that he's doing?
Business. Yeah. And it's so cool that he just finally was like, fuck it, I'm fed up with doing what I'm doing, and this is what I'm passionate about. I'm just gonna fucking take the leap.
Right.
And just like Ashlii, just like Matt, all these guys, they're just guys and girls. They're like they're stepping up, and they're just doing the thing that they want to do, and they don't care what anybody has to say about it. Because that's one thing that I was talking to someone recently, and she was, she's recently just kind of like quit her job and is like starting a business, and she's like, well, what did you have to say, like when your parents, did your parents have anything to say, like do they, because I think she's getting some some feedback from some people, like some family and stuff, and it's like, what are you doing, and it's like, if it's not what you've only got one life, man. You gotta, if it's not something you want to be doing, I can't stress it to you enough. It's like, you need to figure out something that you're at least happy doing every day. Right. Like if you hate your job, like I can't imagine a more miserable thing to do. Because I've been there. I've been in jobs that I hate, like, and I just remember that feeling of every day, like, even like it was always like the night before, and especially on like, the night before, it was usually like a Sunday night. I'm like, I have 5 more days till I have to go into that place. I have to, 5 days. I have to wake up and get there at, 7 in the morning and be there till, 4 in the afternoon. It's like, fuck, I have to be there for 9 hours tomorrow. And, I have to do that for 5 days. And like, I just remember like thinking like that. I was just like, God, this sucks. But when I finally, took the leap and got in and did my own thing, like I'm just so much happier and passionate about what I do now. And it's like the shit that I do just doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
And yeah. But next one.
All right. Mike McKenna. So yeah, met Mike, my neighbor, former NHL goalie, announcer, all of those things. But basically, I mean, the biggest thing is just to see him, the excitement that he has around this new venture, Macadoodles, that he's doing, which finally opened in Dardine Prairie. So, if you're looking for a really awesome, place to buy alcohol, check out Macadoodles in Dardine Prairie. But yeah, I mean, he jumps all in with everything that he does, and yeah, I mean, that's the thing. My takeaway was, when you find something that lights a fire in you, go all in. And I mean, that's essentially what he's done. And he's been successful. Obviously, with everything that he's done. Making it to the NHL as a goalie.
Yeah.
Very tough, making it to that level for any sport is very tough. And then becoming an announcer, being great at it, to now this opportunity. And he is just all in. I mean, I don't think there has been a day that I haven't seen him where he doesn't have something that says Macadoodles on it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's his entire wardrobe, which is awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, he does such a good job, and it's awesome to see him transition out of the sports world into business world.
Yeah.
Because he's like, you see a lot of people that can't do that, but he is incredibly smart, and another very positive person. And just what I got, go all in. If you find something that which is basically the theme that we've been coming across,
Pretty much, like, don't be afraid to take that jump, because otherwise, if you don't jump, no one's ever going to come over and push you off.
No,
you gotta jump.
Yeah. And I mean, he's not giving up on some of his other dreams. I mean, he's still, he's not doing as much broadcasting as he used to, but I know that he's not afraid to jump in on something if he gets asked. But I mean, it's awesome to see him and what his goals are with this new store and future stores and things like that. So yeah, Mike's just awesome, dude.
Yeah, he's always awesome. And there's just so many parallels with sports and with like sports and business. And, he was a great example of that, of someone who had a successful career in the highest level of his sport. And then, taking those skills and, that he developed there, and then, going into the business world.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just a great guy. That was I had not met him before, and that was a great conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed, meeting Mike and getting to know him and learning more about it. And definitely need to go out there and see the Macadoodles location next time I'm out that way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely going to stop in. And so shout out to Mike. Great episode. Next one. Nick Baldwin. That was man, what a fun episode that was. That was like one of our early ones. I think that was like episode like 12 or something. It was pretty early on, I think. And that was a conversation. I mean, it's our most watched episode on YouTube, if I'm not mistaken. And he's just that conversation was just, it went in so many different directions, but it was so fun.
Yeah.
And we were talking about his career in flipping houses and rehabbing houses, and then got into jiu-jitsu, and his brother who who passed away, and then
the car accident
that he was in, and then and then him getting into jiu-jitsu, and then becoming like a big proponent of psychedelics, and kind of how that these several ayahuasca experiences have changed his life. And that's kind of one thing I really took away from the episode was don't be afraid to to try something new and get out there, whether even if it's an unconventional method. I'm not saying everybody needs to go out there and do psychedelics and go sit with ayahuasca, but what I am saying is, like, don't be afraid. Like, don't, if it's something that's unconventional and something that you're not well versed in, like, don't write it off. Like,
no.
It's it could work for you. I don't know if it's not something that if it's something that scares you. Most things scare you. That's okay to be scared of things sometimes. Like, I can't tell you how many things I've been scared of that when I finally ended up doing it, I was really glad that I did it. I mean, it could be even as simple as like making a phone call that you don't want to make. Like, there's so many times where I gotta make a call that I'm like, I'm dreading this one, but then the second I make that call and it's over with, I'm like, I feel like a fucking 20-pound weight was just dropped off me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel so much better. So I get out there and really don't be afraid to try something new, and even if it is something that's unconventional, and it might work for you. If it's something you're struggling with, reach out to Nick. He can he's very, very knowledgeable in the world of psychedelics and what some of that stuff can do for you. It's definitely something I've thought about doing in the future, just to experience it and see what it's all about. So yeah, it was a good episode.
It was. And I mean, just his uniqueness to the flips and stuff that he does, like, is incredible. If you're ever in Herman, check out the Herman Motel.
Yep.
He completely gutted and rehabbed that thing, and it is gorgeous. And, just, I think that and then I mean, just look at the flips and stuff that he does here, and then the idea that he presented to us that he's working on.
Yeah.
Like, I really hope that comes through.
Me too.
I think that would be so cool. But yeah, I mean, just an incredible person. Just again, story, everything from where he came through, from what he went through to where he's at today is, I mean, just perseverance and determination, and great person, great conversation, and yeah, that was all over the place. That was a fun podcast. That
Yeah.
was a fun episode.
I'd love to get him back on.
Yeah, for sure.
He's like one of those guys that I mean, I talk to him, a couple times a week.
Yeah.
Him and I are still pursuing some deals together. Him and I've done 3 together this year, and it's been great. We've had something, so we're always looking for more of these wholesales, and those have been some of the easiest and most profitable deals I've ever done, and it's just fun to work with him. He's just so like easygoing, and he's just so knowledgeable too. He always makes you feel comfortable about something, even when, like, well, okay, I trust you. Like, all right, if you say so, let's do it, Nick.
Yeah.
And he's just such a good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see, Juan and Nico.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Man.
Yeah, that was another one that was, I think, like a last minute
thing. I forgot who we were supposed to have on, but we're like, fuck,
Yeah, we gotta find
canceled.
somebody.
And holy cow, what? I mean, just, I mean, again, the theme, positivity.
Yes.
I mean, these guys just oozed positivity. I mean, it was awesome, and at such a young age.
How old?
22.
Yeah.
23, and both entrepreneurs starting businesses. And yeah, I mean, that was the thing, was like, they they gave me hope for the younger generation, that I hope there's more like them.
Yes.
Because that was, you always hear that from the generation. Oh, the people say I'm worried about the millennials, and
right.
We're saying that about them. But yeah, I mean, these 2 guys, I mean, they're incredible. I mean, and the thing, like I said, the takeaway, the power of being positive and spreading positivity is what their ultimate goal is. And you can see it by their brands and the things that they're doing and producing and coming up with. And I just think that they're both going to have a lot of success growing up, or coming as they continue to grow and get older. And, I'm really looking forward to continue to following them along and seeing what they do. But yeah, just, they're 2 awesome individuals. And it was just a great conversation, and with how articulate and wise they were at such a young age. It's incredible.
Like, they just, yeah. And they're just being able to create what they've created with their business. And they're just 2 great people. I was not, I had no idea what we were walking into with that one at all.
No.
Zero. You and I did not know them. That was like a total, Murph was like, hey, I just recorded an episode with them like yesterday.
Yeah.
They were great. Like, maybe they'll come on, and like called them, and they came on.
Hell yeah.
It was great.
Just so excited about life.
Yes.
And just to have that enthusiasm, and I hope that carries with them as they get older. And I know that they've both spoke to some of the, setbacks that they have, but they're still maintaining that positivity and enthusiasm to continue to push forward. I mean, I just very excited to see how things work out and where things go for them, and love to get them back on.
Yeah.
And see how things are going for them, and where they're at today, and what their goals are, and see if they still have that same positivity that they had when they showed up, because it was awesome.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more. All right. So I think this is our last. This is number 10. So Ryan DePriest.
Oh wow,
dude. We've had so many episodes, and it's hard to pick a favorite, but man, this one has got to be up there for me.
Yeah.
He knowing Ryan, since high school, I wouldn't say, him and I were like close friends by any means, but we one of those guys that, when he's around, I always talk to him, but man, just kind of seeing his transformation and his like journey from, getting into, the personal development type stuff, and getting into like David Goggins, and running, and changing, just kind of changing, his life, it seems. And then, for him to just decide to just, fuck it, I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna go hike the entire Appalachian Trail. I'm gonna spend 5 months in the woods walking on this trail, and his, really, the one thing I think I got out from it the most is like finding a purpose, and like and being driven by that purpose. And with his, his purpose was to, it was a tribute to his brother, and making that trip all about, spreading his brother's ashes and becoming, and kind of finding himself in that trip. It was just such an inspirational story. And the fact that he did it with like no training, just kind of just like, fuck it, I'm going to do it. Like, I don't really know what I'm doing here, but I'm going to get out there and just start walking.
Yeah.
I think he said he did like a couple like weekend trips before this and then just went and
Did
spent 5 months in the woods
Yeah.
or 5.5 months in the woods. And he just did it. What a strong, like inspirational human being. That was one that, we just kind of got out of, I saw that he had just got back into town from that. Cause he made the post originally on Instagram and I saw that. And then, I think he posted a couple times throughout the trip, and then once he got back, I saw the picture of him on the summit of Katata. And, I was like, oh shit, damn, he did it. Fuck, he did it, and then I texted him and messaged him on Instagram and found out he was going to be back in St. Louis. I was like, dude, we got to get him on like immediately. I want to hear, like, he was still limping, like he's like, I don't know, he's like a hiker's leg or something. He called it, he's like, I don't know, like, I think my body's freaking out because I'm not walking anymore.
Right.
I've spent the last 2 days just like sitting around, and just fucking what a good episode, man.
Yeah.
That one with so many good stories, and like, just what I took away from it was like, man, just figuring out a way to, much like our other guys that we've talked about, like making your own way, like figuring out if this is what you want to do, just go and fucking do it.
Yeah.
You don't need permission. There's no one there who's going to hold your hand and tell you that you need to do this. You need to get out there and put your big boy pants on and fucking start walking.
Take your chance.
Take your chance.
And jump.
Yeah.
But
good episode.
We had a lot of, we've not to say we haven't learned something from everybody on our show. I mean, shit, we could have chose 10. We could have chose 10 other episodes.
Dude, it was really hard for us to even pick the 10.
Yeah.
Like you and I like went back and forth about it, and we're like, oh, what about him? What about him? What, her,
Right.
and like we had so many good ones, and it was like hard to just pick 10.
Yeah.
And then and I'm glad every single person we talked about today, definitely deserves to be there. But there were several others we could have done a top like 20 easily.
Yeah.
Easily. And I mean, even that would have been hard,
Right.
because there's so many good ones.
Right.
I've enjoyed, pretty much every conversation we've had has been amazing. I've loved every single one of our guests for the most part. There's a couple that weren't. Actually, no, I'm not even gonna say that because I think every single person we've had on have been.
Yeah,
and
they're all like I said, all the conversations are unique in their own way. But I think the one thing that we've discussed when we were talking about this show and getting it set up was that there's so much negativity out there in the world, but we want to do something that's positive. And the major theme of all of the people that we discussed and all the people that we've had on they've been very positive people. And they all have this mentality about them that just is what we want to be surrounded with and who we want to talk to and what we want to put, what as a podcast want out there. And so I want to thank all the people that have come on. I want to thank all of our future guests as well. And I'm just excited to see who we have coming on in the future, where we go with this. And I mean, fuck, dude, 100 episodes.
100 episodes in, man.
I mean, everybody.
We're just getting started,
right?
Too,
and like everybody, I had when we started the 20 episode thing, like I didn't even know that was a thing, and I'm like, oh yeah, fuck, 20 episodes.
Yeah, we'll get there in a couple weeks.
Yeah, we're no problem. And then 100 episodes, here we are, and even still, it just feels like, I mean, like I said, it doesn't feel like we're working. We just show up and have a conversation. We just talk. We have an idea of what we want to talk about, and we do some research on it, and we show up and we talk. Murph has the hard part. Thank you, Murph, for all of the work that you've done on this.
Yes.
Like, we
couldn't do this without you.
Absolutely. And even though you're not here and we're still mad at you for leaving us, but just kidding. We love you, buddy, and we're happy that you're doing the things that you're doing and following. You're taking, again, everything that we talked about, taking that leap and jumping all into what you want to do, but still being there for us. We appreciate that. And yeah, man, I love it. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what we've got coming up in the next.
We've got guests lined up for at least another month.
Yep.
We're booked out like a month and a half
Yep.
right now, and I've got so many people. There's so many people that I still want to have on. That was one thing that I was kind of worried about in the beginning. Was like, oh man, because I like wrote a list on my phone of like people that I know that would be good guests.
Right.
But like I've had so many people like recommend people, which is like great. Like okay, like I look into the guy. I'm like, oh yeah, he'd be a great guest. I'd love to hear what he has to say.
Right.
He does something unique. This guy, like the guy Chris talked about yesterday. I'd love to get him on. Like all these people. It's just there's just so many different aspects, and there's so many great people here locally in St. Louis that that we know or that we don't even know yet.
Yeah.
And we're just gonna keep trying to grow this thing, and we're not going anywhere. This is we're having a blast, and like you said, I look forward to sitting down every single time. So Huge thanks to everybody out there that's paid attention to the show. If you've been on, if you haven't been on, if you've shared the show, if you've ever sent the show to any of your friends that, think that they would get something out of it, that means the world to us. And I just want to thank everybody. We're 100 in, and we'll let you know when after we do another 100.
Yeah.
We'll probably do another one like this.
Yeah.
So, thank you guys for tuning in, and make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Click that like button, comment what you thought below. We will see you next time.